Imagine a world where idyllic islands, once teeming with life, are swallowed by the relentless advance of the ocean. This is not a scene from a science fiction movie, it is the stark reality facing many island nations today. Climate change, with its far-reaching consequences, is rapidly transforming our planet, and some of the most vulnerable places are those we often associate with paradise. As global temperatures rise, glaciers and ice caps melt at an alarming rate, adding immense volumes of water to our oceans. This phenomenon, known as sea level rise, poses an existential threat to low-lying island nations, putting their very existence in jeopardy. The future of these nations hangs precariously in the balance, a stark reminder of the urgent need to address the climate crisis. The consequences of inaction are dire. Entire nations could disappear beneath the waves, their cultures and histories lost forever. The time to act is now, before these paradises are lost forever. The Earth's climate is changing at an unprecedented rate, primarily due to the release of greenhouse gases from human activities such as burning fossil fuels. These gases trap heat in the atmosphere, causing the planet to warm. This warming has profound effects on our oceans. As the planet warms, glaciers and ice caps melt at an accelerating pace, adding vast quantities of water to the oceans. Simultaneously, the warmer ocean water expands in volume, further contributing to sea level rise. The consequences of this rising tide are already being felt around the globe. Coastal erosion is intensifying, threatening homes, infrastructure, and livelihoods. Saltwater intrusion is contaminating freshwater sources, jeopardizing agriculture and drinking water supplies, and low-lying island nations are facing an existential threat as their land is slowly swallowed by the sea. The Maldives, a tropical paradise in the Indian Ocean, is a stark example of the threat posed by rising sea levels. This beautiful archipelago is not just a tourist destination, but also a front line in the battle against climate change. This nation of over 1,000 coral islands is one of the lowest-lying countries in the world, with an average elevation of just 1.5 meters above sea level. The Maldives' unique geography makes it particularly susceptible to even minor changes in sea level. Even a small rise in sea level could have devastating consequences, leading to the displacement of communities and loss of habitat. Similarly, Tuvalu, a small island nation in the Pacific Ocean, is facing an uncertain future. The people of Tuvalu are already witnessing the impacts of climate change on their daily lives. With a highest point of only 4.6 meters above sea level, Tuvalu is extremely vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. Rising sea levels and extreme weather events pose a constant threat. The nation has already experienced more frequent and intense king tides, which flood homes and businesses. These events disrupt daily life and cause significant economic damage. These island nations are on the front lines of the climate crisis, serving as canaries in the coal mine for the rest of the world. Their experiences highlight the urgent need for global action. Their plight is a stark reminder of the urgent need for global action to address climate change and mitigate its impacts. The world must come together to protect these vulnerable nations and ensure a sustainable future for all. Imagine a world where entire cities lie submerged beneath the waves, their towering skyscrapers transformed into eerie underwater monuments. While this may seem like a scene from a dystopian science fiction film, it is the potential reality facing many coastal communities if sea levels continue to rise unchecked. The ocean's relentless advance would reshape our planet's coastlines, displacing millions of people and submerging vast areas of land. Coastal cities, home to a significant portion of the world's population, would face unprecedented challenges as they grapple with rising sea levels, more frequent and intense storms, and the loss of critical infrastructure. This underwater world would be a stark reminder of the consequences of our inaction on climate change. It would be a world where the legacy of human civilization is forever altered by the rising tide. Section 5. The human cost, displacement, loss, and uncertainty. Beyond the physical impacts of rising sea levels lies a profound human cost. The devastation of homes and communities is just the beginning of a much larger crisis. As homes, communities, and entire nations are threatened by the encroaching ocean, millions of people face the prospect of displacement, loss, and an uncertain future. The rising tides do not just wash away buildings, they wash away lives and dreams. The emotional toll of losing one's home and cultural heritage is immeasurable. It is not just about losing a roof over one's head, but about losing a sense of belonging and identity. For island communities, their connection to the land and sea is deeply intertwined with their identity and way of life. These traditions and practices have been passed down through generations, forming the backbone of their cultural heritage. The threat of displacement not only jeopardizes their physical well-being, but also severs their cultural ties to the land their ancestors have inhabited for generations. The loss of these ancestral lands is a loss of history and legacy. The loss of these cultures would be a tragedy for humanity. Each culture holds unique knowledge, traditions, and perspectives that enrich the human experience. The stories of climate refugees forced to flee their homes due to the impacts of climate change are a stark reminder of the human cost of our inaction. These individuals are not just statistics, they are people with hopes, dreams, and stories. Their plight highlights the urgent need for global solidarity and compassionate solutions to address the climate crisis. It is a call to action for all of us to come together and protect our shared future. Section 6. Political turmoil, adding fuel to the fire. As if the existential threat of rising sea levels wasn't enough, many island nations also face the added burden of political instability. Competition for dwindling resources, mass displacement, and the erosion of traditional ways of life can exacerbate existing tensions and create new conflicts. These challenges are not just environmental but deeply social and political, affecting every aspect of life on these islands. The erosion of traditional ways of life can exacerbate existing tensions and create new conflicts. Families are torn apart, and communities that have lived in harmony for generations find themselves at odds. The cultural heritage of these islands is at risk, as younger generations are forced to migrate in search of better opportunities. In such a scenario, the very fabric of these nations is at risk of unraveling. The physical landscape is changing, and with it, the social and political landscape is also shifting. The erosion of coastlines is not just a loss of land but a loss of identity and history. The fight for survival in the face of climate change can strain even the most robust political systems. Governments are under immense pressure to provide solutions, but the resources are often limited. Political leaders must navigate a complex web of local and international politics to secure aid and support. The potential for political unrest, social upheaval, and even conflict is a very real concern, adding another layer of complexity to the already daunting challenges facing these vulnerable nations. Social unrest can quickly escalate into violence, further destabilizing the region. The potential for political unrest, social upheaval, and even conflict is a very real concern, adding another layer of complexity to the already daunting challenges facing these vulnerable nations. Emergency relief efforts are often hampered by ongoing conflicts, making it difficult to provide the necessary aid. The international community must be prepared to provide support and assistance to nations grappling with the combined threats of climate change and political instability. This support is not just about providing immediate relief, but also about building long-term resilience. Ignoring these crises is not an option, as the consequences of inaction will be felt far beyond the shores of these island nations. The global community must come together to address these issues, recognizing that the fate of these islands is intertwined with our own. Section 7. Turning the tide solutions for a sustainable future. Despite the dire predictions, there is still hope. The future is not yet written, and we have the power to change course. By taking bold and decisive action to address climate change, we can mitigate the threat of rising sea levels and create a more sustainable future for all. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions is paramount. Transitioning to renewable energy sources, improving energy efficiency, and promoting sustainable land use practices are crucial steps in the right direction. Investing in research and development of innovative technologies, such as carbon capture and storage, can also play a significant role. Adapting to the impacts of climate change that are already being felt is equally important. This includes investing in coastal protection infrastructure, developing drought-resistant crops, and improving early warning systems for extreme weather events. By building resilience, we can better withstand the challenges ahead. Section 8. A call to action. Every moment counts. The time for complacency is long gone. The climate crisis demands immediate and decisive action from all sectors of society. Governments, businesses, communities, and individuals must all play their part in this collective effort to safeguard our planet's future. We must hold our leaders accountable for their commitments to reducing emissions and supporting vulnerable nations. We must demand greater investment in renewable energy, sustainable transportation, and climate-resilient infrastructure. And we must make conscious choices in our daily lives to reduce our own carbon footprints. Every moment counts in the fight against climate change. Let us rise to the challenge with urgency, determination, and a shared commitment to leaving a habitable planet for future generations. Section 9. Hope on the Horizon, a collective effort for change. While the challenges ahead are daunting, there is still reason for hope. The global community is increasingly recognizing the urgency of the climate crisis and the need for collective action. From the halls of government to the streets of our cities, a growing movement for change is gaining momentum. Renewable energy technologies are rapidly advancing, becoming more affordable and accessible than ever before. Businesses are embracing sustainability as a core value, recognizing the economic opportunities presented by a green transition, and individuals are making conscious choices to reduce their environmental impact. The fight against climate change is a marathon, not a sprint. But by working together with unwavering determination and a shared sense of purpose, we can create a future where paradise is preserved, not lost. The time to act is now.